The first thing you notice about the Pixel 10 Pro is that it doesn't really look all that new. Put it side by side with last year's Pixel 9 Pro, and you'd have to squint to tell them apart. Same flat glass front and back, same aluminum frame, same camera bar that's been around since the Pixel 6. Even the weight difference is only 8 grams, something you'd never feel in daily use. But here's the twist. While the outside hasn't changed much, the real story is on the inside. The Pixel 10 Pro is powered by Google's new Tensor G5 chip, and that's where things get interesting. After years of relying on Samsung for manufacturing, Google has switched to TSMC, the same company that makes chips for Apple and Qualcomm. That alone is a huge shift, and the numbers back it up. Google promises a 34% jump in CPU performance and a whopping 60% boost to the AI-focused TPU. So while the phone looks familiar, the brains inside are a lot sharper. Why does that matter? Because Google's pitch for the Pixel has always been less about hardware specs and more about smart features. The better the chip, the more AI the phone can handle on-device without waiting on cloud servers. And that means more useful features that actually feel instant. Now, about the display. It's a 6.3-inch OLED with LTPO, up to 120 Hz refresh rate, and a crazy peak brightness of 3,300 nits. That's 300 nits brighter than the Pixel 9 Pro, which was already one of the brightest screens on the market. In real use, that means you'll be able to see your screen just fine, even in direct sunlight. It's sharp, smooth, and has an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor under the glass that feels quick and reliable. The cameras are where some people might be a little disappointed because the hardware hasn't changed at all. Still the 50-megapixel main, 48-megapixel ultra-wide, and 48-megapixel telephoto with 5x optical zoom. Even the 42-megapixel selfie camera is carried over from last year. On paper, that sounds lazy, but this is Google, and their play isn't new sensors, it's AI. The headline here is ProRes Zoom, which takes zoom shots up to 100x and uses AI to fill in details that the lens can't capture. The results are surprisingly sharp, but it does raise that philosophical question. At what point is a photo less about reality and more about machine-generated guesswork? Either way, for everyday shots, the samples we've seen look clean, detailed, and color accurate without the oversaturation you sometimes get from Samsung or even Apple. On the performance side, the benchmarks confirm what Google claimed. The Pixel 10 Pro's CPU scores are way up from the Pixel 9 Pro, 34% higher to be exact. GPU performance also got a bump, though it still lags behind the iPhone 16 Pro and Galaxy S25. But here's the key. For most people, the difference won't matter. With 16 gigabytes of RAM and storage options all the way up to 1 terabyte, this phone will feel smooth and responsive for years to come. Software is where Google really flexes its muscles. The Pixel 10 Pro launches with Android 16, and thanks to Tensor G5, Gemini Nano can do much more without the cloud. Gemini Live can have back-and-forth conversations and even use the camera to help you cook, fix things, or identify objects. Magic Q predicts what you might need before you ask, like pulling up your flight info if you're on hold with an airline. And for creators, features like Camera Coach and Ask Photos let AI help you frame better shots or edit photos just by speaking commands. Combine all this with Google's promise of 7 years of updates, and you're looking at a phone that should still feel modern in 2032. Battery life also gets a modest but welcome boost. The Pixel 10 Pro packs a 4870 mAh cell, just under 5000 mAh, thanks to some clever engineering. Pair that with the more efficient Tensor G5, and things are looking promising. The other big news is Q2 wireless charging support, which not only speeds things up to 25 watts, but also introduces MagSafe-style magnetic accessories. That means third-party wallets, stands, and cases will just snap into place, finally giving Pixel users the same ecosystem iPhone owners have enjoyed. So, should you buy it? If you're holding a Pixel 9 Pro, probably not. The improvements are real, but not game-changing enough to justify the upgrade. But if you're new to the Pixel world or coming from an older model, the Pixel 10 Pro makes a strong case. You're getting a clean design, one of the best displays on the market, cameras that still punch above their weight thanks to AI, smarter software, better battery life, and a phone that's built to last nearly a decade with updates. At the end of the day, the Pixel 10 Pro isn't flashy. It's steady, thoughtful, and quietly powerful. And sometimes, that's exactly what makes a phone worth keeping in your pocket. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.